going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we're going to be checking out this guy right here, the Hivemapper. So what is the Hivemapper? Essentially, this is the end of Google Maps. You know, those centralized entities that pretty much run the mapping world. You can drive by anything, and then, if you look onto Google Maps itself, there's a lot of edited and censored areas which was catered due to military, whatever, doesn't matter. The Hivemapper is a game change. This is the decentralized blockchain version of the end of Google. So you take this, put it in one of your cars. It's on sale right now, $200 to $500, depending on the model you get. You drive around and you get paid in honey tokens to map the world. And there is no editing involved. Some centralized entity says, hey, you know what? Get rid of that. We don't want people to say that. We go, you know what? No thanks. We stay as is. So that's pretty much what's going on here. The decentralized mapping network is here in terms of the Hivemapper. All right, so the installation process on the Hivemapper is a pretty simple process. You take your little doohickey stand that it comes with, stick it to the center of your windshield, as close to the center and out of the way of any view obstruction so it doesn't bug you while you're driving. Then simply take this and screw it in. Now, you want to make sure you have this B facing upright. Having it like this is wrong. That looks like the B is crashing down and burning. That's wrong, and people do seem to be installing it that way. So you want to make sure the B is going up to the right-hand corner. After that, you do have to link this to your cell phone, and it only works through Wi-Fi. You have two options while driving. You can use your cellular data in order to upload your data while you drive. Myself in Canada, we have totally horrible cell phone plans, so that is not an option. We are very expensive and very limited on data. So I encourage most of you guys to use your Wi-Fi at home to do so. Now, one big downfall I do have, and that is this version here, the very first one, does not come with a USB stick. And I thought I ordered this after the fact. So I ordered this after the fact with the USB-C attachment and everything, because I was hoping I didn't need to use my cell phone storage for this and only be able to use this and then upload this when I got home. I was wrong. This USB is only to check the orientation of your camera, make sure it's facing nice and clear and stuff like that. So you still have to use your cell phone. And personally, I feel that's a con for me, because what if, defragmenting, downloading, deleting small files all the time could lead to your cell phone storage kind of getting corrupt and being bad, and then your cell phone dies, and that'd just be a bad day. So I feel that's a bad thing to have. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. Regardless, I was hoping this would be the thing, but it's not. So, don't waste your money on that. The new versions do come with this, so you can check it. So maybe it's handy to have. You can plug it into your computer and then just kind of drive around like you would be on Google Maps. But other than that, it's pretty much not needed. Now, as crypto miners, I know our biggest question: how much does this thing make? Now, I apologize. I am not allowed to mention how much it actually makes or any type of ROIs due to some type of legal issues. I don't know. That's just what they told me. So I can maybe give a hint. So I drive a truck, and you can use this to get the mail, go to work every day, come home obviously after work, and then go to town, get groceries, whatever, depending where you live and so on. But it easily covers my gas prices to go anywhere while I am mapping. So I'm only going to leave it at that. Another thing, the coins minted, majority of them is happening within the first year. 2022, we're past that, and then 2023, and it's a downhill slope ever since that. So as more and more of these come online, just kind of like something like helium, you will notice the rewards start to dwindle a bit. So this is something to keep in mind as well. But the tech, decentralized mapping and everything, I feel it's really good and stuff that we actually need, unlike having a centralized entity. Now think about it. A Google car, for example, I believe it's like $500,000. You got to get the car, get all the expensive cameras, put everything on, hire a driver, and point them back and forth. Like I said, these go from $200 to $500. I do have a link in the description. Code RabidMining will grant you an additional 10% off, something like that. So check that out if you are looking into this. It'll cover your gas price and so on, but only temporarily. I don't know how long that'll actually last. But so we have the price of this, and now all of us are busy bees, hence the Hivemapper. We're all part of a hive here. We're all busy bees driving around mapping everything. And it doesn't matter if you're mapping something new or mapping something already there, like your route to work, your route to the grocery store. I believe it's all weighted pretty close to the same. So you still maintain the same rewards until all the minting is done. Now, unlike the other ones, because we are currently centralized in the mapping world with Google and such platforms that are pretty much owned by the 1%, you know, they can charge outrageous fees for the mapping data. And that's another thing. Add competition to the whole mapping network and people can get in on this. Now, when they use their honey tokens to actually purchase mapping APIs and so on, it then causes a burn. Those coins are all burnt, which then gets kind of rewound and added back into the pool for all the mappers out there to regain there. So there's a set amount of coins, or honey tokens, I guess, that will only be minted at one time or ever, but it'll always be a burning process as people start using the network and it picks up to be implemented into the Hivemappers and all you guys out there as well. All right, so earlier when I was saying this was about $200 to $500, I was totally wrong. I went over and I actually checked the price on this, and it looks like they're about $550 to $650, depending on the model that you do want to get. So the newer one is a little bit smaller, more compact, comes with the USB stick, which isn't really needed unless you want to check your orientation. And then it does shoot a little bit faster, 30 frames per second versus 10 frames per second, for security type of purposes. Regardless, you know, get any model you want. I probably saw a promotion or something last month or something, I don't know. But as for my experience with this Hivemapper over the past month or so that I've had it, I like it. It is mostly positive, minus the fact that I can only use my phone for the storage and not the USB stick that I spent extra money on to try and hopefully use that. But it is good to kind of get the alignment of your camera. I do enjoy this Hivemapper though, because it does cover my gas. Now, to touch up on that, previously how I was mentioning a little bit into the fact where it's weighted about the same if you're mapping new to previous mapped routes, like going to work, grocery store, or whatever, doing the same type of routes. That's the whole purpose of this over something like Google Maps. Google Maps is like what? You look on a few maps, it's like 2017 last updated, 2018, 2022, 21. It's all over the place. This is, the whole point is to stay up to date all the time. All the latest map data is currently up to date now. So that's a huge bonus, especially for people that are looking to purchase map data. Maps are everywhere in this world, and you know, this has potential to take off. Now, this also runs on the Solana blockchain alongside with Helium. Now, I don't want to coordinate this with Helium right now. There's a lot of bad blood with Helium, depending who you ask. We'll see. But I think in the future, if all these things can kind of coexist and mingle with each other, and you know, 10, 20 years from now, if we can actually kind of boot out the main corporations and implement decentralized blockchain technology throughout Helium and telecommunications and even mapping, I think that is good for all of us as people in general. Regardless, I don't really know. Let me know your thoughts on the whole thing down in this comment section below. I will see you all in the next one. Rabid out.